If you grew up in the 80s, chances are you've jammed to the sounds of DeBarge. With catchy R&B hits like I Like It and All This Love, this Motown-influenced family band was all set to follow in the legendary footsteps of the Jackson 5. But behind those infectious melodies and chart-topping tracks was Bobby DeBarge, a man whose life was marked by dark secrets and heartbreaking struggles that led to his downfall. So what really happened to the guy at the front of Switch? Why did his bright career take a nosedive? Come along with us as we explore the truth behind one of Motown's most intriguing figures. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. Early life. Bobby DeBarge was born on March 5, 1956, in Detroit, Michigan, as the oldest son of Edleen and Robert DeBarge Sr. The DeBarge family would eventually become well known in the music world, producing several talented singers and musicians, especially through their successful family group, DeBarge. But Bobby's early life was anything but easy, filled with challenges that would shape his troubled future. Growing up in a chaotic home, Bobby faced a lot of instability and hardship. His father, Robert Sr., a soldier of French descent, and his mother, Edleen, an African-American woman with a strong Christian faith, had a tumultuous marriage marked by racial tensions and societal pressures. Unfortunately, the most damaging aspect of Bobby's upbringing was his father's abusive behavior toward both his wife and children. Bobby and his siblings, including his younger brother Tommy, who would later play a significant role in Bobby's musical career, endured harsh physical and emotional abuse. This toxic environment left lasting scars, impacting Bobby's life in profound ways as he grew older. At just 15, Bobby was introduced to heroin, marking the start of a lifelong battle with addiction. This early encounter with drugs, combined with the trauma of his home life, made him particularly vulnerable to substance abuse, a struggle that would follow him throughout his life and impact both his personal and professional journeys. In the early 1970s, Bobby's parents separated and eventually divorced, prompting significant changes for him and his siblings. They moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, hoping for a fresh start. Music career. In 1975, Bobby DeBarge's music career took a major step forward when he teamed up with Gregory Williams, another talented musician from Grand Rapids. Both Bobby and Gregory shared a drive for success and saw the potential in creating a group that showcased their unique musical abilities. Their partnership would eventually lead to the formation of one of the most influential bands in the R&B and funk scenes of the late 1970s and early 1980s. Together, Williams and DeBarge began recruiting other skilled musicians from the Midwest, which caught the attention of R&B legend Barry White. At the time, White was dominating the charts with his lush, orchestral sound that defined 1970s soul music. Recognizing the raw potential of this new group, White took them under his wing and made them part of his background ensemble, White Heat. With White's direction, the band quickly went to work, releasing their debut album that same year. However, despite their talent and White's influence, White Heat failed to make a significant impact with their album. Their time under Barry White's management was cut short when White, facing financial and tax issues, dissolved most of the group, retaining only one member. Rise to prominence. Despite facing setbacks, Bobby's determination and love for music soon led him to greater heights with his family group, DeBarge. Their unique fusion of R&B, funk, and soul earned them critical acclaim and a loyal fan base, allowing Bobby's remarkable vocal range and songwriting talent to shine through. Yet the personal struggles he grappled with continued to cast a shadow over his burgeoning career. After White Heat disbanded, Bobby and Gregory Williams, along with a few former members, decided to regroup under a new name, Hot Ice. This marked a significant turning point in Bobby's journey, giving him the opportunity to refine his skills further as a vocalist, songwriter, and instrumentalist. The group's sound evolved, embracing a richer blend of funk and soul, with Bobby's signature falsetto and emotive style at the forefront of their identity. In 1976, Hot Ice recorded an album titled Pall Mall Groove, which showcased a variety of tracks highlighting the group's versatility and chemistry. One standout song was Please Don't Let Me Go, written by Bobby himself. This track not only displayed his incredible vocal range, but also featured his piano work, exemplifying his ability to merge heartfelt lyrics with soulful melodies, defining moments for the album. Pall Mall Groove was initially released in 1977 by the label Pur in Germany, but it struggled to make an impact in the European market. It wasn't until 1979 that the album made its debut in the United States and Canada, rebranded as Smash on Source Records, a subsidiary of MCA Records. Even with this second chance, the album remained relatively under the radar, gaining widespread recognition only much later. While it didn't achieve major commercial success initially, it later became a coveted collector's item, significant not just for Bobby DeBarge and Gregory Williams, but also for its foundational role in the formation of the band Switch. As fans of late 70s funk and soul rediscovered the album, they came to appreciate its authentic sound and the raw talent of its performers. In 2005, Pall Mall Groove was reissued globally by Burnman Records, introducing it to a new generation of music lovers. This reissue sparked a re-evaluation of Bobby's early work, shedding light on the evolution of his musical style. Tracks like Please Don't Let Me Go became emblematic of the struggle and passion that marked his life and career. The song's poignant lyrics, combined with Bobby's soaring vocals and expressive piano playing, encapsulated the deep emotion he channeled into his music, even amidst his personal battles. A crossroads in the mid-70s. After the dissolution of White Heat, Bobby DeBarge found himself at a difficult crossroads. Despite being a talented vocalist, instrumentalist, and songwriter, his career hadn't taken off as he had hoped. The disappointment of White Heat's failed debut album, along with his escalating heroin addiction, left him feeling lost and disheartened. Frustrated by his stalled career, he returned to Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he struggled with increasing substance dependence as a way to escape his mounting disappointments. Meanwhile, Gregory Williams, another former member of White Heat, remained determined to make his mark in the music industry. Residing in Akron, Ohio, he set out to scout new talent and assemble a fresh band. Williams envisioned a group that could deliver a dynamic and versatile sound, where members could effortlessly switch between different instruments and roles, a concept that would ultimately become a defining characteristic of the band that would evolve into Switch. Williams began recruiting skilled musicians from the Midwest, including Bobby's younger brother Tommy DeBarge, Philip Ingram, brother of James Ingram, Jod Sims, and Eddie Fluellen. Together, they focused on crafting a demo tape to present to record labels. This demo not only showcased their impressive vocal harmonies and instrumental skills, but also highlighted their innovative ability to rotate instruments seamlessly, setting them apart from other R&B and funk bands of the era. With the demo tape ready, Williams took a bold step and approached Motown Records, the legendary label famous for its roster of iconic artists like Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and Stevie Wonder. While Motown's influence had started to wane by the late 70s, it still held significant prestige and resources to launch talented acts into the limelight. Intrigued by the band's versatility and unique concept, Motown executives recognized the potential for crossover appeal. They saw that Switch's ability to switch instruments, along with their polished sound, could lead to commercial success. Before sealing the deal, Williams reached out to Bobby DeBarge, inviting him to join the band. Desperate for the stardom that had eluded him with White Heat, Bobby viewed this as a golden opportunity to breathe new life into his career. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of one of the most beloved and influential groups in the R&B genre, giving Bobby a chance to fully embrace his musical destiny once more. Bobby DeBarge's struggle with heroin addiction presented a major hurdle as he began this new chapter with Switch. Determined to seize this second chance, he made a firm commitment to get clean, aware that his substance use had already derailed his career once and could easily do so again. Joining Switch was a pivotal moment that would change both his life and the band's direction. With Bobby officially on board, the band completed its lineup and Motown quickly signed them to its Gordy subsidiary label. Bobby's presence was transformative. As the lead vocalist and a primary songwriter, he infused Switch with a distinct style and depth. His signature high-pitched falsetto added emotional intensity to both the group's heartfelt ballads and upbeat tracks. Moreover, he played a crucial role in arranging and producing their music, drawing from his prior experiences with White Heat and his solid understanding of R&B, soul, and funk. In 1978, after signing with Motown's Gordy label, Switch released their self-titled debut album. This album was a game-changer for the band and became a defining project for its members, particularly for Bobby, whose contributions as lead vocalist and songwriter were key to its success. Produced by Jermaine Jackson, a well-known figure in the Motown scene, the album highlighted the band's versatility and set the stage for their future accomplishments. Switch's debut album was an immediate hit, showcasing the band's knack for blending smooth R&B, funky grooves, and heartfelt ballads. The standout single, There'll Never Be, written entirely by Bobby DeBarge, propelled the album to success. This timeless ballad quickly became one of Switch's signature hits, soaring to the top of the R&B charts and helping the album achieve gold status. Bobby's remarkable falsetto became the defining sound of the group, setting them apart from other R&B acts of the time. The lush arrangement paired with Bobby's emotive delivery resonated deeply with listeners, making it a staple of late 70s R&B. Alongside There'll Never Be, the album also featured another fan favorite, I Want to Be Closer. This track captured hearts with its tender lyrics and showcased the undeniable chemistry between Bobby and Philip Ingram, who shared lead vocals. The smooth, soulful melody combined with heartfelt lyrics made I Want to Be Closer a highlight of the album, endearing it to Switch's fans. The debut album not only spotlighted the vocal talents of Bobby and his bandmates, but also highlighted their musicianship. Their innovative ability to switch instruments seamlessly added a distinctive flair to their performances, setting them apart in the competitive R&B landscape. During performances, Switch's unique ability to switch instruments added an exciting dimension to their sound and stage presence, earning them a reputation as one of the most dynamic live acts in the industry. Their seamless transitions between roles, both vocally and instrumentally, set them apart in the competitive R&B landscape. Riding high on the success of their debut, the band quickly returned to the studio under the guidance of Jermaine Jackson. In 1979, they released their second album, Switch 2, which built upon the solid foundation laid by their debut. Once again, the album struck gold, buoyed by the popularity of another Bobby DeBarge-penned single, I Call Your Name. Switch 2 also featured standout tracks that highlighted the band's versatility and musicianship, showcasing their ability to craft both upbeat songs and soulful ballads. The consistent quality of their music, coupled with their distinctive style, allowed them to carve out a niche in a crowded musical landscape. While the entire band contributed to Switch's success, Bobby DeBarge was undeniably its creative and vocal heart. His multi-octave vocal range, especially his falsetto, became the defining element of the group's sound. Bobby's songwriting was also essential in shaping the band's musical identity. Tracks like There'll Never Be and I Call Your Name were deeply personal, reflecting his own experiences and emotions. His talent for translating these feelings into relatable music was a key factor in the band's rise to prominence. Switch's success quickly extended beyond their recordings. They became a sought-after live act, known for their high-energy performances and impeccable musicianship. One of the most captivating aspects of their shows was watching band members switch instruments seamlessly throughout their set, which added a unique flair and became a hallmark of their style. In 1980, Switch reached another significant milestone with the release of their third studio album, This Is My Dream. This album was a turning point for the group, as it marked their first project without the influence of Jermaine Jackson, who had played a key role in producing their earlier work. Instead, the production was led by the band's founding members, Bobby DeBarge, Gregory Williams, and Jod Sims, who took charge of shaping the sound and direction of the album. This Is My Dream built on the formula that had made Switch successful: smooth harmonies, soulful melodies, and their signature ability to switch instruments during performances. The album solidified their reputation as one of the standout acts in the R&B genre, showcasing their evolving artistry while staying true to the sound that had earned them acclaim. The album as a whole showcased Switch's growing maturity and confidence as artists. With full control over their production, the band crafted a cohesive project that blended elements of funk, soul, and pop while staying true to their smooth R&B roots. This Is My Dream not only reflected their ability to evolve, but also maintained the sound that had initially garnered them acclaim, solidifying its status as one of their most well-regarded albums. However, the success of the album marked the onset of a tumultuous period for the group. Bobby DeBarge, who had managed to stay clean from heroin during much of the late 70s, faced a heartbreaking relapse around this time. His return to heroin was compounded by the introduction of cocaine, deepening his struggles and affecting his health. As Bobby's addiction worsened, the impact on his relationships within the band became increasingly evident. Tensions began to rise as his erratic behavior and growing dependency on substances created friction among group members. The camaraderie that had once defined Switch was now overshadowed by concern and frustration, challenging their creative synergy and threatening their future as a band. Despite these struggles, Bobby's talent continued to shine through, yet the looming personal battles hinted at the challenges that lay ahead for him and the group. In 1981, Switch released their fifth album, Switch 5, but by this time, cracks were beginning to show within the group. Although the album still had the smooth ballads and funky upbeat tracks that fans loved, it just didn't have the same commercial success as their earlier work. The music scene was shifting, and the internal struggles within Switch were starting to weigh heavily on their creativity and cohesion. Around this time, Motown saw something special in Bobby DeBarge and offered him a solo recording deal. For Bobby, this was his chance to step out on his own and chase his artistic vision. But his decision to leave Switch only intensified the existing tensions in the group. The pressure and excitement of this new opportunity led him to walk away from the band that had made him famous, marking the end of his time with Switch. Bobby's departure was a turning point for both him and the band. While he ventured into a solo career, Switch was left without their lead vocalist and creative driving force. His unique voice and songwriting had been at the heart of their success, and losing him was a blow that the group struggled to recover from. Though they continued to make music, their sound and popularity began to fade without Bobby's presence. As Bobby moved into his solo career, he faced numerous challenges. Despite his immense talent, his ongoing battles with addiction hindered his ability to fully capitalize on the opportunities before him. While his solo work was respected by those who knew his contributions to Switch, it didn't reach the same level of mainstream success. Meanwhile, Switch, now without their key member, found it difficult to recapture the magic that had once defined them. Although they remained a respected name in R&B, the spark that had made them stand out in the late 70s began to dim. By 1983, Bobby had shifted from being the frontman of Switch to playing a crucial role behind the scenes, helping to guide the career of his younger siblings in the family group DeBarge. Though his personal struggles with addiction continued, Bobby's musical influence was undeniable. He co-produced DeBarge's self-titled debut album in 1981, shaping the early sound of the group that would go on to become one of Motown's biggest acts in the 80s. Despite everything he was going through, Bobby's impact on R&B and his family's legacy remained significant. While the album didn't reach massive commercial success, it was a crucial stepping stone for DeBarge, introducing the group's signature smooth vocal harmonies and laying the groundwork for future hits. The standout track was Queen of My Heart, co-written by Bobby and his younger brother DeBarge, who was quickly emerging as the lead singer and creative force of the group. Bobby's distinctive falsetto, especially in the ad-libs near the end, added a layer of depth to the track, a signature of his style. The song became a defining moment in DeBarge's growth and was later re-recorded for their third album, In a Special Way, 1983. This polished version, produced by highlighted the group's evolving sound, marking a significant step forward in their musical journey. As DeBarge gained popularity, L's role in the group expanded. He took on more responsibilities as a producer and songwriter, gradually becoming the face and driving force behind the band. With his smooth tenor voice and undeniable charisma, L quickly stood out as a star. As the group released hit albums like All This Love, 1982, and In a Special Way, 1983, it became clear that L was poised for solo stardom. The family dynamic was both a source of strength and tension within DeBarge. While Bobby's early influence had been crucial in helping his siblings find their musical identity, his ongoing struggles with addiction, coupled with L's rapid rise, led to growing friction. Bobby, once the leader in Switch and a mentor figure within DeBarge, found it increasingly difficult to navigate the shifting power dynamic. By 1987, DeBarge was at a crossroads. Their success had solidified them as a major R&B act, but internal tensions and the lure of solo careers began to pull them apart. L and their sister Bunny both left the group to pursue solo endeavors, with L achieving the most success, particularly with his hit song Who's Johnny and his self-titled debut album. Their departure marked the end of DeBarge, as fans had come to know it. Without its two most prominent members, the group's future was left in limbo. While his siblings moved forward, Bobby's solo aspirations faltered. His battles with substance addiction made it difficult for him to focus on his music, and his solo debut failed to gain any traction. Faced with these challenges, Bobby rejoined his remaining siblings, Randy, Mark, and James, in a reformed version of DeBarge. This new lineup recorded the album Bad Boys, released in 1987. While the album had glimmers of the group's former glory, it struggled to recapture the magic of their earlier hits. The absence of L and Bunny, along with Bobby's ongoing personal struggles, made it difficult for the group to find the same level of cohesion and success, and Bad Boys was largely overlooked. The late 80s were an especially tough time for Bobby DeBarge. His inability to maintain the momentum of his once promising career was deeply tied to his worsening addiction issues. By this point, the entire DeBarge family was dealing with multiple crises, as several of Bobby's siblings were also caught in the destructive cycle of substance abuse. Despite these overwhelming challenges, Bobby's contributions to both Switch and DeBarge left a lasting legacy in R&B and soul music. His signature falsetto, along with his songwriting and production talents, played a crucial role in shaping some of the genre's most memorable tracks in the late 70s and early 80s. Unfortunately, his potential as a solo artist was never fully realized due to the personal demons he couldn't shake. In 1988, Bobby's career took a tragic downturn when he was convicted of drug trafficking in Grand Rapids, Michigan. These charges were a direct result of his long-standing struggle with substance abuse, which had followed him throughout much of his adult life. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, a devastating low point for the talented musician. The conviction and incarceration effectively put an end to Bobby's musical journey, just as he was trying to piece it back together. Bobby's battle with addiction had been a recurring issue from a young age. Introduced to heroin as a teenager, his addiction only deepened over the years, creating tension within both Switch and DeBarge. It ultimately derailed his solo career aspirations. The 1988 substance charges were the culmination of years of self-destructive behavior, leading to his imprisonment at a time when he was still trying to fight off his personal demons. His time behind bars not only pulled him away from the music scene, but also took a heavy toll on his personal life. During his time behind bars, Bobby DeBarge reportedly grappled with many of his past struggles, seeking a sense of normalcy and stability amidst the harsh realities of prison life. However, the combination of the prison environment and the toll taken on his body from years of substance misuse had a severe impact on his health. Sometime before his imprisonment in the late 80s, Bobby contracted HIV, which later progressed to AIDS. The exact timeline and circumstances of how he acquired the virus remain unclear, but his deteriorating health became increasingly apparent after his release in 1993. At that time, the stigma surrounding HIV/AIDS was profound, and the disease was often perceived as a death sentence due to the limited treatment options available. Nevertheless, Bobby was determined to reclaim his life and return to music. Upon his release, he made a vow to stay clean and dedicated himself to getting back on track. He signed a management agreement with Baron Litters, who had previously worked with Bobby during his Hot Ice days, signaling a renewed partnership and Bobby's hopes for a fresh start. Additionally, he reconnected with Ed Wright, with whom he had formed a management partnership in 1985, further indicating his commitment to making a strong comeback. During this period, Bobby began crafting material he had written while incarcerated. His time in prison offered him the space for deep reflection, and he used music as a form of therapy and expression. Despite being weakened by illness, his creativity and passion for music remained vibrant. Guided by Litters and his longtime friend and bandmate Gregory Williams, Bobby started recording tracks for what would become his final album, It's Not Over. This project held immense personal significance, as the title itself reflected Bobby's belief that his story and music career were far from finished, despite the adversities he had faced. The album blended soul, R&B, and contemporary sounds, echoing the signature style that had brought him fame, but with a more reflective and somber tone. Death. Throughout 1994 and into 1995, Bobby worked tirelessly on the album, recording tracks while staying at Williams's home in California. This time was marked by a mixture of hope and resignation, hope that his music could stand as a testament to his legacy, and resignation to the reality that his time was limited. In his final months, Bobby returned to Michigan, spending his last days there as his health continued to decline. Despite preparing for the end, completing the album remained his priority, and he succeeded in finishing it shortly before his passing. Tragically, on August 16, 1995, Bobby DeBarge succumbed to complications from AIDS at just 39 years old. His untimely death marked the end of a talented life that, despite its challenges, contributed significantly to the world of R&B and soul music. Bobby DeBarge's death marked a tragic end to a life filled with immense talent and unfulfilled potential, overshadowed by personal battles he could never fully conquer. His passing was a devastating loss for both his family and the music world, which had glimpsed his brilliance during his time with Switch and DeBarge. His final album, It's Not Over, was eventually released independently under A&E Records. This album serves as a poignant closing statement, reflecting Bobby's life and artistry, featuring tracks that showcase his signature falsetto and heartfelt lyrics. Even as his voice and strength waned, It's Not Over encapsulated the essence of what made Bobby a remarkable artist. The release of It's Not Over was bittersweet for fans and those who had worked closely with him, offering a glimpse into what might have been a revitalized phase of his career had illness not intervened. Although it did not achieve widespread commercial success, the album remains a powerful and emotional testament to Bobby's journey, deeply appreciated by those who followed his story. The title track stands out as a defiant declaration from Bobby, a message that his music and legacy would endure beyond his struggles and his passing, echoing his indomitable spirit even in the face of adversity. Personal life. Bobby DeBarge's personal life was a complex tapestry woven with romantic relationships and the turmoil stemming from his battles with substance abuse, drawing both fascination and sorrow from fans and those close to him. One of the most notable relationships in Bobby's life was with LaToya Jackson, a member of the iconic Jackson family. Their romance spanned several years and attracted significant public attention, especially as LaToya was stepping into the spotlight with her solo career. This relationship had a profound impact on Bobby's music. The song You and I, a romantic ballad featured on Switch's debut album, was inspired by LaToya's single Nighttime Lover. Bobby wrote You and I as a heartfelt response to her song, showcasing how deeply their connection influenced his creative process. However, by 1984, their paths diverged, leading to their breakup, the reasons for which remain largely undisclosed. It's likely that the pressures of their burgeoning careers and Bobby's escalating personal struggles contributed to their separation. After his split from LaToya, Bobby found a semblance of stability in his marriage to a woman named Terry. Together, they welcomed 2 children, Christian and Bobby III. Despite the chaos brought on by his addiction and the ups and downs of his career, Bobby cherished his family and they played a crucial role in his life. While his children have generally kept out of the public eye, they have been vocal in honoring their father's musical legacy. We hope you found this video informative and engaging. What was your favorite part? Share your thoughts in the comments below and connect with other viewers. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.